Hey guys, so today we're doing something a wee bit different. We're going to be doing a bit of schizo posting.
Which isn't exactly different because schizo posting is just part of our life.
It's kind of what we do.
Our day-to-day life, we have our schizo diary that we just ramble into.
Yeah, everyone knows Megan's not real. Megan's just a figment of my imagination. Same with that, the house, the child, everything. It's
James
not
can
real.
just throw his voice like mad stacks.
Yeah. We do have a bit of a story though. We'll keep that to the end. We mentioned it.
We mentioned it in the other video.
About Megan being up to her knees in my fecal matter.
In James's fecal matter.
So I'll tell that story at the end, so we will, because we did say about it, but it's really got nothing to do with this video at all.
But it's just a cute story that you might want to hear.
Right, okay, look, let's just jump into this one. Also, thank you, all you guys, for watching, subscribing.
Yes, thank you so much.
We are very close to, well, we're not very close to, but we've got a chance of being monetized on this channel.
Maybe. It's slim, but it's getting there.
So let's just jump into this one and let's see what it's all about, will we?
Essence of the NPC. The NPC meme is so effective because it strikes at a key aspect of normal human functioning that these people apparently lack. Pattern recognition, CPIC related. That is the last chapter of the book 2 of Aristotle's Posterior Analytics.
Hey, very good. First time.
The short and sweet version is that all knowledge must be derived from sense perception. We aren't born with knowledge, and so perception and induction are how we formulate the basic principles of science, reality, ourselves. The process involves extracting the universal attribute out of a series of experiences or memories, and the most universal attributes are extracted first. Wit describes the speed at which someone can grasp the universal. Aristotle compares the process to an army that has been routed, but one soldier turns to make a stand, and then another, until the formation has been restored. This formation is a rational, logical set of conclusions. However, this is where the problem arises. And this, at least, is an obvious characteristic of all animals, for they possess a congenital discriminative capacity which is called sense perception. But though sense perception is innate in all animals, in some the sense impression comes to persist, in others it does not. So animals in which this persistence does not come to be have either no knowledge at all outside the act of perceiving, or no knowledge of objects of which no impression persists. Animals in which it does come to being have perception and can continue to retain the sense impression in the soul. And when such persistence is frequently repeated, a further distinction at once arises between those which, out of the persistence of such sense impressions, develop a power of systematizing them, and those which do not.
Yeah, very good, Megan.
Can you clap for me? Because I read that in one take.
That was very well done. Do you guys get what he's trying to say? Do you guys...
I know, my dyslexia let me read the words, but it didn't let me process what happened.
Well, I think it's kind of interesting, but it goes a bit deeper. Let's keep going. Well, let's see where... See, this is a problem with this sort of stuff. It's very hard.
You have to have big brain to understand.
Technically, you need to have a high IQ to understand
Smooth brain.
No, but see, this is a problem. It's very difficult to talk on such matters because you're going to get into bother. You know what I mean? But look, let's just keep going. Let's go.
Is this problematic?
To some people that they fall into the NPC meme, I think they would consider it offensive, but I think...
Who falls under the NPC meme?
There's a lot of people that see... It's almost like you come across them and they're
are people's pronouns NPC?
No. Have you not ever heard of the NPC meme, Megan? I
have a child.
Okay.
I play games and watch Teletubbies for a living.
So, NPC meme is essentially, if you ever come across someone and you try to talk to them and something just doesn't compute with them, and their whole, it's almost like they get taken over by the Matrix. Does that make sense? It's like they have a very hard way of understanding anything that isn't within their realm of possibility.
So rich people?
Maybe. I would say more boomers would fall into...
Boomers and rich people, because rich people don't understand anything. What was that? Somebody done I can't remember who it was with, but it was somebody quite rich, and they asked him how much does a pint of milk cost?
Oh, yeah.
Was it Boris Johnson? It might have been Boris Johnson. I can't remember. How much does like a pint of milk cost? And he was like, oh, about £6. And they're like, what about a loaf of bread? About £7-8. No, Boris.
To be fair, probably does in London.
Well.
I mean, where he lives, it probably could be that.
But like,
nice.
they have no self-awareness whenever it comes to that stuff because they don't do it.
That's more. I would say they're more. They're not connected to
reality.
What most people's realities are.
Yeah,
would that make sense? But
yet they're the one running the country. Look, that's
a country. That's a story for another day, will we?
Humans fall into this latter category of animals that can retain sense perception and further systemize them, i.e., learn. It is the ability to discern the abstract universal truth from the given set of experiences, to generalize, to discriminate, if you will. The starting point of knowledge is noticing patterns and differences, but the NPC has lost this capacity, either willfully or from a life of training.
I think it's through training.
From
honestly.
A life of training. Sorry,
I really do believe it's heavily conditioned into people to not be able to think for themselves. This is one thing that I think an awful lot
that's
about.
why schools are. That's why I don't like schools.
The one that I find the most interesting is public speaking and oratory used to be part of the UK's standard curriculum.
What's oratory?
Like public speaking, way with words and rhetoric and stuff like that.
We had to do speaking exams.
Did you?
Remember, we had to do speaking exams in English. We had to do We had to do speaking exams where we had to stand up in front of the classroom and do an oral speaking exam.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, we did it because you were there.
Was I?
I seen you go up.
Did I?
We had to go into a different room and do a speaking exam. We did. We had to write a paragraph and then read it. Well, not a paragraph. I had to write a short story and then read it out.
Oh, no, that's different. So it is. Well, look, either way, what I'm trying to get at is, when it comes to like government education and whatnot, the idea of we probably shouldn't let the peasant class be able to think for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of, no, let's, like, everyone's heard politicians talk, and they're very skilled at talking, and they're saying words, but it doesn't
But they're not
mean
speaking.
Anything.
There's nothing behind the words. They're saying a lot of words
that mean absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
You know? But like, let's keep going, will we?
Seeing patterns and generalising now has all sorts of labels ending in phobia and ism. Having a discriminating mind used to be a good thing. Being called a discriminating shopper was a compliment. But we only mean discrimination based on sex, race, national origin, skin colour, gender orientation, age, job, occupation, etc. The list continues to grow, and the definition of many of these things is becoming obscured. The process of discrimination is so fundamental that it cannot be arbitrarily switched on and off. The only way to not be a racist, sexist, Islamophobe, transphobic, xenophobic, anti-Semitic shitlord is to kill the part of your brain that wants to discriminate. A full shutdown of your brain's difference engine is required to avoid unacceptable conclusions. To use the soldier analogy from earlier, instead of a rout, the NPC army has been ordered to retreat, and any soldier that turns around to make a stand is shot on the assumption that he's a traitor. I get it.
Yeah, you see what
I get it now.
You see
Let's not talk any further.
This is the thing. All I'm just going to put out there is, how dare you not?
So an NPC meme thing is kind of like a sheep. It's like the old term of sheep. Sheep going with the crowd that you think everybody is with.
You're doing it because you don't want to. I don't know if they do it.
You don't want to upset the apple cart. You don't want to be seen as the one that's.
I don't think the NPCs even understand that they're doing it, though.
No.
I don't think they actually have any.
They just think.
No, this is what we do.
This is what we do.
I think it's heavily conditioning.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying, like, you know, see, this is where it
Look, this is where it gets spicy, my guys.
I don't want to make it too spicy.
Let's just read.
Let's just read, okay?
It leaves the NPC incapable of learning or reaching logical conclusions. They can't grasp the basic fundamental truths of the world around them, so any reasoning done will be flawed. However, the brain doesn't like being left in this external state of logical limbo. It wants to order the world around itself. It wants to put things into boxes and label them, but it is being specifically trained not to do this, leading to a great deal of discomfort. It leaves the brain craving a structure to judge the world with. The solution? This structure is provided to them. They are programmed by authority figures and media with a fundamental logic they use to view the world. Their many contradictory positions are because their viewpoints is contrived, not derived, and it is also why their positions can seemingly 180 multiplied times in a couple of weeks. Right, we're going to read this next bit, but if we cut it, then you'll know why there's a gap, because we're not sure.
Okay.
Once again, these aren't our words.
These are not our words. I would just like to say that what they're stating are more on the lines of statistics. Right?
Yes.
And also, let's not try and kid ourselves. What happened in
Watch
the UK?
3 Girls, BBC.
Yeah, watch that. And, you know, a lot of the problems that I think people had with it was they were too terrified to
Speak out
on the subject because they were scared that they would be labelled racist. And therefore, I would argue that they weren't judging the people by their actions at all, and they were judging them completely on their
words,
racial background.
Well, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So,
but we might have to cut this.
We might have to cut this. So if it's cut, look, we'll listen to it in editing and be like,
whether or not we can talk about some subjects.
So if it's cut, then you know why. Take, for example, the Pakistani El Rape gangs in the UK, or El Rape statistics in the US, or gun violence in the US. A rational, fully functioning mind would see the 10th report in a week about a new El Rape gang run by a Hamid or Mohammed, and he'd extract that one particular type of man was committing these crimes disproportionately. But the NPC brain sees these and only extracts up to the limit it is allowed, and through the filter it has been given. The NPC will see that men are El Raping children in the UK, ergo toxic masculinity is the problem.
I mean, like, look,
hold on, only the part, look, if we need to cut this, let's do it all in one bit. Yeah. Only the partial universal is extracted, so the conclusion is fundamentally flawed.
I'm just going to put out here that, what is it with England anyway, in general? Like, just like
toxic
a BBC
masculinity thing?
No, it's more than just that. Like, just England as a whole. It's like, can you guys just stop?
Saying that, though, have you not noticed that the whole toxic masculinity thing has calmed down a bit?
I think people have wisened up. I think a lot of people have realised that there is such a thing...
From, like, COVID?
There is such a thing as toxic masculinity, and there is such a thing as toxic femininity.
1,000% on both sides.
On both sides, but there is definitely good and bad. You can't just take all the good and all the bad. You know what I mean? Like, you guys don't need... You guys know what the fuck we're talking about. Yeah. Wash your penis, bucko. let's just keep going.
One of the most glaring particular instances of this happened recently with Molly Tibbet. I don't know who this is.
I can't remember. The
girl in Iowa murdered by an illegal. You could also think of the South African couple in a similar situation. What kind of lunacy would cause a father to go out and advocate for the very people that just murdered his daughter? The kind of person that can't learn. We identify threats by abstracting present and past injuries to the future to prevent them. See, that's a tough one, because I remember when remember the whole thing with the Ariana Grande concert in Manchester?
Yeah.
And people were going about, and it was nearly like Crystal Knock.
Oh yeah, it was
over here towards the Muslim community, and stuff. Where like
that's the point of the terrorism. One radical does that in the hopes to radicalize more people because they want the backlash.
Yeah, where I felt really sorry for the genuine business owners. Like the Muslim business owners, and who were just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
And the taxi drivers and all were getting attacked, and it was horrible. It was ridiculous.
That was what his objective was, though. It's kind of like what else happened? The other one that happened in New Zealand. If you read his manifesto, he specifically says, "This is what I want to achieve. I want backlash. I want to radicalize as many people as I possibly can."
And if anybody knows anything about Rotherham as well, same thing happened there. But can't really speak much on Rotherham.
No, I don't think it's something that...
but look into it.
Yeah, I would say check it out. And again...
And it's being completely ignored.
I would argue that, you know what, let's just keep going. I don't know if this is even going to be able to make it as a video, if I'll be honest with you.
You know what? You know what's a great example?
What?
Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden's a great example, so it is. Just Sweden in general.
Just Sweden.
Yeah.
Just go look at the statistics.
Yeah, Sweden's kind of insane, to say the least. Let's keep going. There's only some more.
If you can't learn from your experiences, you will never accurately identify threats. You'll see the player character saving his game and applying all of his buffs. Until he hacks you to bits, you'll keep pathing. To paraphrase...
Yuri Brezhnov. Have you ever seen Yuri Brezhnov's interview?
Who's that?
He was an ex-KGB and he specialised in propaganda, so he did. And the way it's to demoralise people, it's very interesting. You know what, I think me and you should watch it after this, because it actually is a very fascinating interview. Most of you guys have probably seen Yuri Brezhnov. I think I've even used him in a few thumbnails at this point. But let's just keep going.
To paraphrase Yuri Brezhnov, their brains are so devastated and trained that they won't see the truth even if it's right in front of their eyes until they are in harm's way.
1984, unironically, thought police, indoctrinate the children, all that jazz.
This is why the NPC meme is so fitting. They lack the quality that lies at the foundation of the human experience. It's why they seem so devoid of a soul. It's why you feel like you have the same interactions with dozens of different people. They are all running the same program, and they will continue to run this until a new program has been entered by Rachel Maddow or Facebook. Nothing you say or do will change the program. Nothing they see or experience in real life, from a bomb at an Ariana Grande concert to 10 vans of peace, will change the program. How then do we change these creatures from NPCs to people? The answer is something we've always known. It's the red pill. It's why the red pill is it's why the red pill is irreversible. Going back to the army analogy, it's convincing the army in the NPC's head to not shoot that one soldier that turns around. It only takes one, because as soon as he's allowed to live, as soon as fundamental reality is no longer an enemy, the process has begun. By its sheer existence, the single soldier will draw others, and bugs in their code will be made apparent. The brain will take over and begin to self-repair. Remember that next time you talk to an NPC. The goal isn't to have them yelling, "Can't break that."
I'm cutting that out.
Yeah. The goal is to break the code just a little bit. The rest is inevitable. P.S. This is also why the left can't meme. They can't imagine others being able to understand something without explicit explanation. Lefty memes have walls of text worse than Ben Garrison cartoons because they can't distill abstract concepts from things.
So I don't know if this is going to make it into a video, guys. Just putting that out there.
I think it should. Look, this is a different channel. If we get scooped, who cares? You know.
Yeah, pretty much. But have you ever experienced that, Megan? Do you know?
I get it.
Have you ever talked to people and it's like you've already spoken to this person a million times before?
Yeah.
It feels like you're talking to the same people again and again and again.
Yeah.
And no one ever comes up with anything new or interesting to say to you.
But the thing is, as well, which is, you know, whenever you're out in public and you meet new people and you talk to them, you really have to choose your words.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You can't just like.
But Megan, I'm beasting that held.
But like, but the thing is, like, we're at the way we're talking. It sounds like we're like fucking. Do you know what I mean? But we're not. It's just you can't even bring up like different opinions or anything. Because
Northern Ireland is especially bad for that. Like pretty much you don't talk about religion.
No.
And politics is seen as like dirty talk.
Yeah.
Over here you're better off. A lot of people just refuse to talk about it, and honestly for kind of good reason.
Yeah.
You're allowed to talk about a lot of surface level politics.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. But anything deeper than that, unless you know the person very well, you're probably better off not talking about it to people. And like,
I've got a friend, my best friend, who was very, I'm a feminist, I'm this, I'm that, and still very much is so.
She can't fall into that category.
But I've got her joking. I've got her making jokes. And the more I get her making jokes, the more she actually sends me articles and stuff, and she's like, look at this, and I'm like,
oh, that's interesting.
I have her making jokes.
But that's the thing, like, you know, the longer, I think this is what the thing gets me, I think with a lot of people, the more something is so vivid and staring you in the face, how long can you ignore something? How long can how much longer can you just deny the reality around you? You know, this is one thing I was thinking about. I actually was thinking about this morning. The world that I was born into doesn't exist anymore.
Absolutely not.
And that was under 30 years ago.
The thing is, whenever I was...
The world that existed in 2009 does not exist anymore.
No, it doesn't exist. Whenever I was between the ages of, let's say, 13 and even about 21.
Yeah.
You can attest to this. We both were extremely liberal.
Yeah, I would agree
I
with
was
that.
extremely liberal. We went to like gay pride every year. I advocated for that stuff.
Yeah.
But the pendulum has swung so much that my views haven't changed. They've changed very little.
Yeah, I don't think my views overall... My core view is I don't want the government to have say in my life, and I don't think the government should have a say in your life.
In your life and anybody else's. And I believe everybody should live a life that they want and they want and they what they deserve.
As long as you're not hurting
as long as you're not hurting other people. I do not give a fuck.
Look, all I'm saying is you can fuck your own life up, but you're not fucking
mine.
You're not fucking my life, and you're not fucking anyone else's up.
Yeah.
What you do to yourself is what you can do to yourself. You know, that's
and leave your kids alone.
Yeah, essentially. You know what? That's one of the biggest ones that gets me. It's like
the amount of fights I'm gonna have whenever our son goes to school. I'm gonna have fair digs in the middle of the playground with the teacher and the principal, and I know I am.
Oh, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna.
James is already scared, and he's our son's not even 2.
It's horrible, so it is. But no, what do you guys think of this? How many NPCs have you gone into, and do you think this is true? Do you think there's any level? I do believe there's a few people that I know that it feels like I've came across them before in the past, and it's like they regurgitate to me what people on the internet have said. And it's like they can't...
like tweet by tweet.
Yeah, and I think this is one of the biggest problems. I think, especially when it comes to the flow... This is a core fundamental problem with the internet, and it's actually one of the reasons why this channel, or not this channel, but Nightbeardy even ever existed, was because I would read a lot of story times and a lot of long format stuff. So I would online, I would read 1D4 channel articles, I would read story times, all that sort of stuff, and I would send them to my friends, and they just wouldn't
read it.
They just would never read it. And I think sometimes a lot of stuff needs to be in long format. Like, look at Twitter, look at tweets. How bad has that been for society?
Never mind Twitter, look at TikTok.
Yeah, TikTok. TikTok's like Twitter, but tenfold almost.
I know.
You know, see, sometimes information needs to be long format, because I do believe it's not just context, it's also to be able to formulate a genuine rhetoric and be able to actually explain yourself.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people go into a lot of arguments. Again, this feels so out of date. Debate me, bro. It's not 2013, 2014 anymore.
I know.
It's not like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna debate you with my facts and logic.
I know.
You know, people have kind of picked who they want to listen to
and who they don't, and who they'll completely ignore.
Yeah.
You know,
I you know what, I do still watch and listen to some channels that have very different...
I like to take in a lot that's around me.
Yeah.
One that both of us like to watch that has a completely different view on what we have is Philip Franco.
Yeah, I would still watch him from time to time. He's not bad.
Because
he gives me news that I would never
hear about
otherwise, and he gives it from a very different perspective, even though I think his perspective is fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. But I see, that's where I like to take in both sides to get the better argument.
My prime example would be the whole thing going on in Ukraine. On Pole, it's very pro-Russia. On K, it's very pro-Ukraine. And, you know, with anything, like, you know, look, we're not gonna know the truth of what's going on in that war for at least 20 years.
Yeah.
We're just not gonna know. Like, what is propaganda? What the ghost of Kiev? What? You know what I mean? We're not gonna be able to...
Ghost of Kiev.
But you know what I mean? Like, come on. You guys get what I'm trying to say. We're not going to know the facts. Yeah. Look, there's stuff that happened in 2001 that people are still arguing about today, and I don't think I can mention that one. It was two tall buildings.
Something that...
Never mind. Look, something... an airline? What? Look, we still don't really know. Like, officially, we still don't know, you know, and there's so much different contradictory information.
Yeah.
I think people can make a roundabout informed decision on their own, but we don't have a solid grasp on what is and what isn't.
Yeah.
And that was 20 years ago. That was over 20
Over
years
20, it was 22 years ago. My God.
What happened?
Well, nearly.
Do we know any? Like, I got into this argument with one of my mates because he's really into his conspiracy stuff, but some of his conspiracy stuff is fucking like the most insane stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you know, some of the stuff that he buys into is like, I love listening to him.
What, like Avril Lavigne's actually dead?
No, it's like way weirder than that. Some of the stuff that he buys into, and he got into a bit of an argument with me because I really enjoy history, and he was trying to say to me, it's like, well, history's not real. We don't actually know anything. It's like, okay, yeah,
I get it. No, I completely get that.
Where you're coming
I get
from.
that logic.
I get
but
history has been painted by the winners.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. There's 90% of all information about history has been destroyed, and it's also been tampered with, and it's what people want to know. Look at Julius Caesar's writings on Gaul. That was not his journals and diaries. That was fucking propaganda for the masses at home. And don't tell me otherwise, because it fucking was. I don't know where else to go with this one, guys, and I think it's kind of something that I find really interesting. The idea of the flow of information, what is and what isn't. Long think if it were, you know, and I think this is something that's worth talking about, at least.
But tell us what you think down below, and before we go, we'll change things up a wee bit.
Tell the story.
I'll tell the story.
Right, okay, so
you started off, James.
Okay, started off. Megan shouts at me because she says I use too much toilet roll.
James uses a full toilet roll every time he takes a shit.
Not every time. I use one a day. I would use one a day.
Well, yeah, you would use one toilet roll a day.
Yeah.
One toilet roll a day.
I like a
just
clean
for
asshole.
himself. Not like I'm using it. It's just him.
I'm sorry. I like to have a clean bum.
Excessive amounts.
Right, so
anyway, toilet roll.
So Megan complains that I use too much toilet roll.
Like, okay. James gets a toilet roll and like wraps it around his hand about 10 times.
I don't want to get poo on my hands.
10 times. Like, there's no need. There's just no need.
Right, anyway, keep going. So, the toilet got blocked, so it did, right? And
it wasn't too bad, like the plunger would take it away. I'm like, your shite's like clogging it up here, James. And next minute, then it started to come up the sink. And then the toilet just wouldn't flush. And I said, James, we have to go out and sort this out.
So we went out to
the poo hole, lifted up the manhole cover, and I shit you not, the shit was like level with the ground. It was disgusting. And James just stood there and let me poke at it to have to get it down. I had to poke with it with a stick and a draining rod. I did have a poo stick to begin with because I needed to find the hole. So I had a poo stick and I was poking at it. I was barefoot in cycling shorts. The shit was all over my toes, and James just stood there, and I went, why is it always me who has to poke at your shit whenever it's like 95% of his shit. 94% of your shit.
Alright, okay.
And there was shit all over my feet, all over my legs, and he just stood there.
Well, you know what happened? So I got the power hose out and I blitzed it.
He made a soup.
I blitzed it, and then I just put the hose pipe to it, and it just kind of...
It went away.
It kind of floated away.
But there was shit all over the garden. There was bits of sweet corn everywhere.
There was a bit of sweet chili. So yeah, guys, plumbing, guys, am I right?
And then the day after...
What happened the day after?
You were taking a piss.
Yeah.
And there was a full toilet roll down the toilet.
Oh, no, that's... Okay, no, what happened was, right, so I went to the toilet, and Ozzy he threw...
A full toilet roll.
Because Ozzy thinks it's funny.
You know what it was? Look, it's a toddler.
It probably was Ozzy that blocked the toilet. He likes to...
Yeah, keep saying that to yourself.
Alright, well, just say...
Keep saying that to yourself.
Right, anyway, so I go for a piss, and Megan always puts this, like, you know, all that chemical stuff to make it all, like, foamy and, like, blue and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm on about?
I like my toilet clean.
Yeah, anyway, so I don't know, it was all foamy, so I just went my dick out, started pissing, and then I just realised, like, I'm pissing on a toilet roll, guys.
So you had to go and get a bag and skip out his pissy toilet roll.
I mean, it didn't go down. Like,
there was another time before in our old house that our toilet had blocked.
That was fucking insane.
That was but once again, who had to clean it? Who had to do it?
Okay, so first of all,
me.
that one that happened to us yesterday or the day before was actually not that bad. It didn't actually, like, yeah, it smelled, but it wasn't like
gagging.
It wasn't like to the point where it was
you
like
couldn't handle it.
It wasn't like raw sewage.
Yeah,
shit.
no,
you know what I mean. It was like.
But this one, the one in our last house, was ridiculous to the point where
We were both fucking...
we were both throwing up.
Like, we had masks on.
No,
we put, like...
I had a mask on. I ran upstairs. I says, wait, I know what we need to do. So I ran upstairs, does it like vapor rub that you put in your chest whenever you're sick? I scrubbed it all over my nose, put a scarf around my face, got gloves and a gardening trowel shovel. And I came down the stairs like Superman.
This is the only time I'll accept the Death Corps of Creek meme.
No, but actually, running down the stairs and James stood it like away from me.
No,
gagging.
No, the problem was I first tried to attack it because I was like, hey, this is fucking getting ridiculous now.
But I had to scoop it out of the toilet.
So I went in with the plunger and it was like everything, the smell just hit me like a fucking torrent. And I went into like a coffin fit and I was like, it was really bad, guys. Honestly,
but this has now happened to us twice because of James's shitty arse.
I'm sorry, I like a clean bum, okay, guys? So yeah, I know that's got nothing to do with the rest of the video, but
I thought you'd give you a laugh. But anyway, look.
So I don't really know where else to go with this.
How much shit have you had over your leg in the years?
Are you gonna? Do you think the chances of us getting back? We need to get some sponsors for this channel. I'll look into it. I don't think anyone's ever going to sponsor this channel.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
You know, if anyone does sponsor this channel, they'd be very cool. I'm very pleased.
It would be very cool.
Because I don't.
But I don't know how much people would want to put their brand in front of this.
Yeah, so hope you guys enjoyed this one. Definitely check out our other channel because, you know, it's tabletop related and we have a website and it's got like a 30% off sale. Ooh.
So go over and check it out.
Because it helps us out a lot because it means we can do more stuff like this.
Yeah.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed and we'll see you next time.
Bye.